welcome to another episode. Right, welcome to another episode of Conversation with Successful Entrepreneurs. And tonight is a very, very special night because once upon a time we have this very handsome young man whose name is Thomas Chen, and he tells the story, and a whole pack of people just followed him, till the cows come home and till the cows sing. And that became a tribe, and they were so wonderful, and they lived happily ever after before Thomas slaughtered all of them to make them into steaks. Okay, that's a plot twist. But then again, the point is that tonight we are here because we invited a very masterful, right, storyteller, unlike me, who obviously spoiled the story earlier. But that is why I have with us tonight, Thomas Chen, right? So Thomas is actually one of the best storytellers, person who knows how to use story to do branding, right? And he's actually an international speaker and trainer. He's a life and business strategist, and he's been invited on so many different platforms to speak, right? So it's really my honor tonight to be able to really get him onto like my small little show, which currently only the 6 of you who is watching. So by the way, for the 6 of you who are watching live right now, say hi, all right? Comment down in the comment section, say hi, let us know that you are here so that we can interact with you. Also like this video, give it a thumbs up and share this out as well. But Thomas is here with us tonight, right? If you look at his Facebook profile, every single day he's being invited onto another platform to speak. That is how good a storyteller he is, right? And tonight we're going to let him spill the beans on how you can be a master storyteller as well. And I want to do a disclaimer at this moment of time, right? Once you have learned this skill set is very, very dangerous. All right, let me say that again. This skill set is very, very dangerous because once you know how to do this well, you literally can sell or convince or persuade anybody to do anything that you want. Okay, so this is something that is very, very powerful. So if this is something that you want to learn tonight, you got to watch this live today. Of course, we have Everly here. Everly is Thomas' biggest supporter. Right? I have to say that on screen, right? So Everly is here, and we also have Lina who is here. So welcome, guys. Remember to like, comment, and share this video out. So with a big round of applause, we all welcome Thomas.
Yay! Hi everyone. Thanks for coming. Wow, you're 8 people, very hardworking. This timing, usually will be like sleeping, watching TV, but you choose to enrich yourself by coming onto this platform, to learn a bit about storytelling. And yes, thank you, Gavin, for the opportunity to share with the audience a bit about storytelling itself. So hopefully my experience and my knowledge on it can be of value add to all of you. Yep.
Such a handsome young man on the poster, right? They say, finally,
you're liking so cool. Anyway, guys, this is an informal session, so do not need to be very formal. It will be enriching, but it's informal because let's have fun. That's how we can, learn on a more profound level. Have fun at the same time while learning at the same time. So yeah,
absolutely. Right. So by the way, Thomas, I think for some of the audiences who might be on my channel, who are either watching this live right now or maybe later even on YouTube when they are watching in fact, YouTube is also live, or they are watching the replay, they may not know exactly who you are, and I might not have done you justice earlier, right? So I mean, may I request you to maybe do a short introduction about what you do, who you are, and why they should be listening to you?
Okay, right. Actually, you have done a lot of justice. I feel like I'm some Hollywood star with your introduction, and then your promo at the start. The Hollywood level. Okay, but a little bit about myself. I'm actually managing different portfolios. So I'm a coach, trainer, speaker, and a wealth planner. So aside from managing financial portfolios, what I also do is I run a coaching and training company where we specialize on coaching wealth building skills. So when we talk about wealth building skills, there are 3 areas: building wealth through financial management, building wealth through business growth, and building wealth through life mastery itself. So today it will be more focused on business growth, because business growth is where story branding can come into play, can make a business stronger, more effective, more personal. And yeah, essentially that's what I do. Yeah, a few portfolios to create a whole holistic, overarching direction of helping people to achieve their financial goals through these different wealth building skills. Yep.
Actually, it's very interesting because I think for most people, how could you really relate to like building wealth or doing business or to to ready to accumulate asset. How do we relate that to story building? And how did you even like put one and one together? How do you build all this wealth accumulation skill set together with story building? How did that idea even cross your mind, Thomas?
Okay, so the ideas, I started my entrepreneurship journey even when I was in university that time. So back then I was already running a few business. I was doing marketing and lead generation as well as doing wealth planning at the same time because they had the university exposure itself. So back then what I wanted to go in the direction is more of building an ecosystem, right? Because I believe that different parts are required to place together in order to help people to achieve their financial goals. It's not just about building a financial portfolio, but having different skill set in order to help them achieve their financial goals quickly. So the thing about building an ecosystem, it is important to find an anchor point so that your brand will not be diluted. You have an anchor point where people will know where the direction is heading to. So my anchor point, at the start, it was a bit diluted, but I bring it all together down into wealth building skills itself. So for wealth building skills, let's think about it. To achieve our financial goals, it's not just enough to have perhaps a financial portfolio. Yes, that's good. But other areas also come into play. For example, if we are able to expand our business in an accelerated pace, we will earn more wealth from there also. If we are able to master our life when it comes to having peak performance, when it comes to having the optimal mindset, we are able to function at a higher level. It helps us in our earning abilities as well. And when it comes to financial management, the habits we have, the system we have in order to manage the money we have, it also comes into play. So all of these are the different angles. I accumulate everything together to form this whole ecosystem.
Wow, you see, that's why when I say, right, in the introduction, in the promo text over here, right, don't be fooled by his youthful looks, but actually he's thinking a very mature one, very 成熟 already. Right?
There are people who are more 成熟 and younger also lah. I think people are getting younger and more 成熟 must be the food lah. Must be the food.
But I think what you said already previously is something that is very important, but not many of us we may miss that out at times, right? We always pursue something, and sometimes when we pursue a particular goal, for example, a financial goal, and we just pursue it single-mindedly, and then we tend to give up on our personal development, we tend to give up on our health, we tend to give up on our psychological care or something like this, and that in turn will actually affect our performance in other areas of life as well. So I thought whatever you mentioned earlier actually does ring true to a certain extent, and many of us who are entrepreneurs who may be watching this channel right now, I think Thomas just gave us a very good reminder. It's not just about the end goal, and that's the only one goal that you have. It's really about looking it from a bigger perspective, taking care of the whole ecosystem that's going to bring you over there. So Thomas, how did you get started? You mentioned earlier, right? Very interestingly, you said you were already running businesses and doing all this when you were in university. You were doing lead gen and marketing. But how did you realize that story branding was something that's going to help you anchor and help you to grow your business to where it is?
Okay, so even before that, I will perhaps start sharing about my journey in entrepreneurship and how everything comes into play. All right, so actually there are different elements in it. So the science of entrepreneurship comes in when I'm in primary school. But it wasn't because I was like selling lemonades or selling toys. Sorry to disappoint. Not so entrepreneurial. But back when I was in primary school that time, right, I realized I watched a lot of cartoon programs, play a lot of games. But the interesting thing is after I watched all these cartoon programs and play all the games, right, I would visualize myself as being one of the characters and creating my own journey itself. So assuming if I'm like playing Pokemon, I will assume myself as one of the main character, having my own set of Pokemons, creating my own journey. And it's very specific. The conversations, the interaction, all this, it's like Inception like that, right? And this sign further amplified as I grow older. So whenever I'm in like leadership roles, whenever I'm running a program, I will try to go things from a creative angle. And that's where I realized, right, I am someone who loves to be innovative. And that's when I also see that entrepreneurship is the platform to help me satisfy this craving of innovation itself. right? So the angle I always go in, I will try to look at it from an innovative angle. And the second sign, right, is that I realized even back then when I was like doing all this visualization, right, a bit paiseh to say lah, but I always realized that I love to be the hero. I love to be the main character itself. And why is it so? It's not because I want to impress or someone, but it's because I find a purpose in impacting people. And from then on, right, everything I do, right, I will always find joy whenever I'm able to value add people, when I'm able to impact people, which is one reason why on social media, I always post a lot of value added content. Of course, one reason is to brand myself, but it's also whenever I post it, I feel happy knowing that people have actually feel some impact from there at all. And hence, right, that built my whole entrepreneurial system, which is run on two engines, innovation and impact itself, right? So as of how I started my journey in marketing and lead gen, right? Okay, so I first learned it from this person. Most of you should know him. His name is called Imran. So I attended his course. Imran Muhammad Ali. That's my first exposure.
You're referring to the famous one of the four horsemen of the internet marketing in Singapore.
Back then, it's called a business in a boot camp. I think, yeah, his program is called business in a program. That was the first one I signed up for. And back then, I was still a student. Yeah. So I signed up for, I got exposed to all these things. And then I also have a lot of, I love to study and analyze Western entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs out of Singapore also to create this whole system. So this wealth building system, I must say that I got inspiration from someone you know, John Lee. So John Lee, he started property investor, wealth dragon, correct?
Yeah.
And then he started to do a pivot to social media side also, but he still has his overarching brand of so-called wealth. So that's where I get the idea of piecing in all these different components to build my own ecosystem itself. Yeah. Then as of stories, I start to realize the importance. I think it's through different source of inspiration. But one of the biggest inspiration, if I did not recall wrongly, is Eric Feng. Eric Feng, the social media strategist, he always shared a lot of powerful story. Like personally for him, he shared a story about why he's working so hard, because there was this incident where his relative looked down on him and his family, and from then on, he got this epiphany moment that he will not let anyone look down on his parents. That's one of his story. Another story was how he started out, like no one wanted to pay him for gigs, speaking gigs. Then he was patient, he kept going, and eventually he's now speaking to thousands and thousands of people. So he always emphasized that storytelling is actually a very powerful tool to build your brand, to amplify your message, and to convey the information you want. Yes, and aside from that, also different entrepreneurs, they have been endorsing about storytelling. Gary Vee, Dan Lok himself is also doing a lot of storytelling. Airbnb, Nike. So storytelling is everywhere. So when we talk about storytelling, many people, they have this misconception that fairy tale or perhaps fictional story. Yeah, but if we were to really observe, right, storytelling is everywhere. Gavin have a story. I have a story. The iPad I'm using have a story. The char kway teow I just ate in the morning have a story. Stories are everywhere. Commercials, brands, business, they are all filled with story. The key is how you use and the message to achieve what you want. Okay, so to set things from the start, that the definition of story essentially is just sharing a series of interconnected events to convey a message. So where are stories applicable? Whichever scenario which requires you to convey a message, you can use stories already. As simple as that.
Wow, wait, I need to type down the key points. Wow, this is amazing things, right? Using stories to convey.
Because my side a bit laggy, so I thought I will slow down when I speak quickly to adjust accordingly. But yeah. Take your time.
Yeah, I think your side the connection a bit laggy, but it's okay. The sound is coming through. It's just the image is a little bit jagged. Okay. But I mean, guys, come on, for the last 10 minutes or so, when Thomas is sharing all these different things, there are so many good pointers that we could really take up from it already. So, right, guys, if you all find that this is amazing, right, I just want you all to type yes in the comment section and let us know. By the way, say hi, let us know that you are here, right? Type yes in the comment section and share this out so that more people can get it. Okay, so Thomas talked about, the reason why he started to do this is about, from young he knew he has this inner desire, right? That he want to innovate. He always imagined. At first, I thought he was imagining himself as one of the Pokemons, but unfortunately, it's not. It's one of the master, right? So that's what he does. And then after that, he learned from. I think one of the key things is also he talked about learning from all the different masters in a different field, right? For Imran, I attended his workshops as well. Is actually I think there's a lot of unnecessary comments for a lot of people who didn't really been through the workshop itself to say things that isn't true. Because I've been through it.
Also.
Sorry?
He has evolved. He has transformed. He has evolved also.
But I think that the concept of what he's doing definitely is very, very true. There's a lot of things that people could learn and apply to help them accelerate and improve their life. So definitely Imran is somebody. And also John Lee is my mentor as well, right? I work very, very closely with him also. So, John is someone who is super amazing, like what Thomas has mentioned. And also people like Eric Fong, big influencers in their field who helps a lot of financial agents, property agents to really grow their brand through social media and things like this. So really, there's a lot of things that we really could do for us to really move on to the next level in the game of story branding. And one of the most interesting things that you have just said earlier was this: we have to using stories to convey a message, right? And you said that stories is the series of interconnected events for us to share story. But then I tell you what, right? This is gonna be the biggest hurdle that most people will tell you one. I'm sure you hear this all the time. Right, people say, Thomas, right, you all say everybody got story, but I know story one, my life very boring one. My life, every day I just stay at home, wake up, drink coffee, I go to work, I do this, do that, and then that's it really, that's my life. I got nothing one. My life very boring, nothing exciting at all. How, Thomas, how can I tell a story? So, Thomas, I'm not sure if you get this all the time, but if someone do say that, then what's your advice? What should we do?
Yeah. Okay, so before I share that, because we want to value add as many people as we can, right? What I would love all of you to do is to like this video and share it publicly. If you share it publicly, after this whole session, I will send you a gift and it will be very worth it. Trust me. Okay? Deal? Because we want as many people to be positively impacted by this sharing itself. Okay, so back to Gavin's question. How do we get inspirations from coming up with stories? And the thing is, firstly, it's a misconception that you need to use your personal stories. You do not need to use your personal stories to create story itself, right? Let me give you an example. Avengers, whose personal story is that? Spider-Man, whose personal story is that? But yet it's still able to impact so many people. We will share a bit more about that later. But how can you get these sources of content to come up with your own story? I have this framework, I call it K-pop, for those K-pop stars out there. So K represents knowledge, the knowledge you have already. For example, Gavin's amazing with digital marketing. So he probably will know some stories related to digital marketing and he can use it to frame his own story also. P, personal stories. Yes, that one is the most popular one, which is the stories we have been through before. It can be our primary school, secondary school, university. Life is up and down. So definitely there will be some areas where you can utilize it to create a powerful story. But even if you feel that your life is very bland, don't have all these ups and downs, there are other sources. Observations. What do you observe around you? Right? You can use the story of other people to create the message you want, right? Because it is what you observe, and from there you extract that message. And the final P, popular references, right? So you can create a story by looking into popular references. So let me give you an example, and this story is by one of the world champion of public speaking. So he gave a popular reference to Beauty and the Beast. And he say that society is just like this movie, Beauty and the Beast. Why? Because people too often, they judge people on the exterior, not on the interior. And it happens for Beauty and the Beast because the Beast is ugly on the outside, but beautiful on the inside, just like the society itself. And so this is something we should avoid. This is something we should not do. Do not judge people externally, but rather appreciate their inner beauty. Did he use his personal story? No, but rather he used a reference to a popular movie that everyone seen before. So you do not need to have your personal stories. Of course, personal stories, it builds that credibility and authenticity, but you can also use other sources to create your story itself. And it depends on the purpose of your story lah. So there are a few applications to storytelling itself. Maybe we can discuss more later. But it really depends on what is the purpose of you creating this story itself. And from there, get the information. Information is in abundance, trust me. You just need to look closely enough.
Yep. Definitely, guys. Wow, man, I love this. The first thing, and by the way, hi Eliza, and Eliza says that she loves Beauty and the Beast. By the way, so right, we love all these classic tales of that ages very well with time. But I mean, guys, we are just like less than 20 minutes into this particular session, and Thomas have already shared one of his frameworks that is going to help you to be able to use stories. Because this is one of the biggest stumbling blocks that most people have. They always say, I don't have a story, then what could I do? Now you actually know how you could actually come up with this already. So remember the framework K-pop, right? So my role today is just, I'm going to let Thomas have a lot of the airtime. I'm just going to do like a quick refresher because I'm not the star today, okay? The star is this Hollywood man sitting right in front of me. So K-pop, right? It stands for knowledge, personal, observation, and popular references. If you are able to use this framework,
yeah, so just to elaborate more a bit to make things even clearer, I will show you an example of how you can use observations. So not sure if you know the person called Simon Sinek. Have this TED Talk start with why. If you were to look at his TED Talk, it is a storytelling format. He's essentially just sharing about organization management, which can be a very dry topic. But he used storytelling to breathe life into it. And specifically, what type of story? He used observational stories. How Apple and Microsoft is different. Apple thinks about impacting the clients. Microsoft thinks about winning the competition. His observation, not his personal story, but his observation itself. So this is one way you can use observation. And his TED Talk is very well received, one of the best and mostly watched TED Talk ever. And he didn't use his personal stories. He just used observations itself.
Yeah. I think it's very, very powerful because I really agree with what Thomas has shared earlier. Many times, I think we all have our own opinions and observations, right? We all see certain things, and it's about how we are able to frame our observation and our opinion into a story format where we will be able to really go out there. Then we can use that to really share our opinion and viewpoints so that we can attract people into our tribe, so that we can use that to leverage and do know, like, and trust, right? By the way, this is a very powerful framework. So if you guys have enjoyed it so far, just type K-pop. Type down K-pop in the comment section. Let Thomas know that you are here so that he can say hi as well. So we have Kat who is here as well. And also, right, Thomas did say something earlier. If you were to share this video, if you were to drop a like on this video right now and share this out publicly, Thomas will actually take a look at it and he will send you a gift personally. So this is something that is not pre-planned. This is something that he just dropped the bomb on everybody. So do it, man. Or we have to do the K-pop hub.
Share. It will be worth it, trust me.
Right. So Thomas, my next question is this, right? Okay, great. So now we know where we can get all these stories from. That's amazing, right? Because that is one of the biggest things that we need to think of. But then people then say next, okay, Thomas, very good. Now I know where I can get all these stories. It's so amazing. Now I got all this observation, I got this knowledge, I got this popular reference already. But then Thomas, how do I frame that into a story? Is there a certain sequence of how am I supposed to convey my message and share this story? Then what would be your response to that?
Great question. Okay, so right, there are many different types of storytelling format out there. We have the hero's journey, the timeline, the phases. All right. So for mine, I use a format that capture the essence of storytelling itself, the important parts, and yet it's streamlined and lean so that we can all use effectively. And I call it the 5 C's model, the 5C. C, yeah, C for cat. Okay. So the first C, context, followed by catalyst, right? Followed by climax, followed by change, followed by call to action. So let's observe each of these C to a more profound depth, all right? So context essentially is the background, the setting itself, the story, where that have it taken place. So you can use the 5W1H method, the who, where, when, what, why, and how to build the context itself. So that's the first C. Okay, so assuming that life is smooth sailing and all of a sudden there's an event which causes a disruption, that is the context. That is the catalyst. So the catalyst is the trigger. So this disruption will cause some impact, will cause some aftermath. It can be negative, it can be positive, right? But what it does is it will bring the content to a climax. At this point, the person will most likely be at a crossroad, thinking whether should take action or not take action. And it is when he take action that change happen and transform into a new person. And when change happen, this whole story itself, it bring across a message. Let me put it in a business context so that it can be more applicable and relatable to all of you. So assuming that Gavin, digital marketer, right? Okay, so there's this client of his. Before this client, I'm just sharing out of a scenario, may be true, may not be true. All right, so there's this client. Before he hired Gavin for the digital marketing service, he's a realtor, so he sells real estate. Before that, he does a lot of co-marketing, does a lot of roadshow, right? But what he realized is that the results is not there. He put in a lot of time, but not much result. And because he put in a lot of time, so I already built the context, real estate agent, do a lot of co-marketing, put in a lot of time, but no result, all right? So this will lead to the catalyst itself. The catalyst is he start to spend lesser time with his family. The relationship start to weaken. He start to distance himself from the family. Right? And this brings to the climax, where one day the wife tell him, I don't really know who you are anymore. That was when he realized that he has been spending too much time running the business in an ineffective way. So he decided to change. He wanted to find a solution. And he realized there's this digital marketing service which can perhaps change his life. He tried it out. Within a few months, he get the results. He can spend more time with his family because it is self-run and the relationship become better. So ladies and gentlemen, digital marketing service it is more often than not used to promote having get more sales, having get more revenue. But what he can also do is to strengthen relationship with family. Give more time for the person to spend more time with the family. If you are someone who wants treasure relationship, want more time with family, perhaps you should consider to automate your marketing services, automate your lead generation services so that you can have more time, more quality time with your family members who are the people that truly matter. So that is the storytelling format of how you can share about the importance of having a digital marketing service. Right? Yeah. If any questions, just feel free to please key into the chat. I will be doing my best to address them. Okay. And another perhaps I'm a fitness trainer, which will probably never happen. All right. So maybe context. I used to be very plump. I am plump, but okay, imaginary character. I used to be very plump because I love to eat a lot. I love to snack a lot, so I become very round. That's the context. All right. So next up we have the catalyst. Is that one day I saw a girl which I have some feeling for. Eye candy. So I've been eye candying for her for quite a while. Want to ask her to be my girlfriend. Fictional story, Ariel, don't angry. So what happened is that one day I decided to gather my courage, go up to the girl and say, maybe we can go on a date. Then that's why the girl said, Thomas, you are a nice guy and I truly appreciate that. But I have to be honest with you, and that is I prefer someone who is slimmer. So that is the climax itself. And that's where I decided to change, start taking care of my health more, start going to exercise, start going to eat healthy. And after a few months, I managed to transform and get the figure I want. I did not end up with the girl, but I get the figure that I want. And my call to action is this, that if you want to get your dream figure, regardless of what the purpose is, maybe to feel healthier, to feel more energetic, or to feel more confident, I'm the person who is here, who have been through it myself, and I will be able to create your dream body with you, with my routines and my diet strategies. Yep, storytelling in a business context. Yeah, so there are many.
It's crazy, right? I mean, you see, this is why Thomas is being paid so well, and he's doing this, really on a professional level, because you see, he's just getting all these amazing ideas. It's like he just wrote my whole sales letter, right? How I could be doing my own video script for my business, right? And also for a fitness business now. So guys, we want this to be an incredible session where Thomas will be able to add as much value as to you guys as possible. So, just comment down in the comment section below. Tell us what industry you are in. In fact, tell us what industry you are in, so that, maybe Thomas could do something for you as well. He could think out of something to really help you to grow your business, to help you put into a perspective of how story branding could help your business. Like, for example, Robert just said that he stumbled upon this particular webinar, this live right now, and he's so glad that he's here because it's so valuable, and it is absolutely extremely valuable. So guys, if you are here watching this live right now, comment down in the comment section below, spam the love and like button, and share this video out so that more people can get the amazing value that Thomas is actually sharing with us. So Thomas, so just now, right, you actually managed to share and build a story, right? I think that really helps us to relate to other people, right? Because when we share such stories, actually some people, they might also been through similar circumstances, and that's how they suddenly feel like, oh my god, I've been through that also. Oh my, I totally feel you. And that's how we build that relationship, right? But that is about, just now what you have done, it seems to me that a lot of it, a huge part of it, is a little bit more towards, I build a story, I read it to you, then after that I want you to take a certain action, I want to sell you something, right? But if I were to just come out here to share a story to build my brand, is there a difference between that? Is there a difference between using a story to sell and using a story to build a brand?
Right. So there are many different types of story. First of all, you need to ask purpose itself. So let's look at the applications right now, specifically applications for business. All right. We have a founder's story. We have a company's story. We have a product and service story, which is more for the marketing of products. We have a sales story. That's the one which I just shared, a sales story. We have a tribe builder story. So each of these different applications will have the different type of story itself. So for example, the founder story, it will be more of the origin story, why he started this business, what is his inner purpose of starting this business, what is his vision for this business itself. For companies' story, because some companies, they are detached from the founder, which is one of the business strategy, so that the founder will not be the brand, the company will be the brand. That's more of the company's origin, the company's vision, the company's story itself, right? And product and service story is more of how the product has come about. For example, iPhone. We see iPhone, Steve Jobs, the time he did a presentation on the iPhone, I think more than 10 years back, if I'm not wrong. It's a very powerful presentation. So how the iPhone come about, it is a combination of 3 different features: the internet, the phone, as well as, I think, the music. So that's how this iPhone is created in the first place. So he created a story to market iPhone. Sales story, how is it like? It's more of how people or how clients, they have transformed using your service itself. So that builds that credibility, right? Track builder strategy. Track builder strategy is more of creating a community of raving fans. So we have Dan Lok and the high ticket closers. We have Russell Brunson and the funnel hackers, right? They all have their own story. For example, like for Dan Lok, high ticket closer is more of gain financial confidence by learning high income skills, right? Funnel hacker is achieving success one funnel away. So that's their story. They build their story based on those concepts itself to build a tribe. Even Pokemon also have their tribe, Pokemon Masters. So it really depends on the purpose of why you want to, the purpose of why you want to use and apply these stories, and then you cater the content accordingly. So it builds. with the end in mind of what you want to achieve. So when you have the end in mind, then you will know the direction. Always start with the end in mind. Why are you even sharing this story? What do you want to achieve? Is it to build your brand? Is it to close a sales? Is it to market a product? And then from there, you create the story. But maybe, yeah, say first.
Story. So by the way, guys, for those of you who are watching this right now, we really want to be able to help you as much as possible, especially for those of you who are watching this live. So just comment down in the comment section to share with us, right? What industry are you in? What difficulty are you facing when you are looking to use story to build your brand or to grow your business, right? Ask us those questions so that we will be able to answer these questions live right now. So with Thomas, the master storyteller with us, to be able to answer this live with you. And also, it's also very important for you guys to also post any other comments that you might have, right? Let us know that you are here, right? If you are telling us hi, you are saying, leaving us comments, it really motivates us to share even more things. It will push me to ask Thomas even more questions for you guys. Okay, so just do it for me. Okay, so Thomas,
ask.
I think there might be some people who are from international, so don't be shy, right? Don't be shy, just ask the questions. Okay, so the next thing is this, right? So Thomas, right now we know that storytelling right now we start with a purpose in mind, we start with an end in mind. We need to know the intention, we know how to use K-pop to really find out how do we even find those stories in the first place, and then how do we build those stories by using the 5C context, right, to be able to do that. And you also share with us the different kind of stories that we could actually do to for different purposes. Now my next question is this, right? Why is this skill set so powerful? Why is storytelling, right? We have now learned how to do it, but fundamentally, why is storytelling, why is story branding so effective? What's the rationale behind it? It's just stories. Why is it so effective?
Yes, amazing question. All right, so there are a few different reasons why stories are such a powerful tool. Okay, so to start off, fundamentally, the structure of a story, it brings us on this journey of discovery and development. Earlier on, I defined story as sharing a series of interconnected events, and because it's a series of interconnected events, at each point in time, the audience will want to find out more. What is next? What is next? What is next? What's going to happen next? Because humans, we are naturally curious. So the structure is designed to hook onto the audience attention. And check this out. The longer and the deeper your audience attention is on your story, the stronger your brand or your message will be inside them. The longer and deeper their attention is on your story, the stronger your brand and the message will be ingrained inside them. Length and depth. Story is able to create that itself. And an amazing example, like what I mentioned, Pokemon. Pokemon has been around for decades. Since young, it's already there already. And the main character never grow old. He's still this 10-year-old boy. But why is it still able to have this raving fan base? It's because the whole concept of Pokemon is storytelling. There's always new villains, new Pokemon, new gyms, new adventure, and the audience love it. They just want to know what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next. And hence, it's able to sustain so long. So the journey of discovery. Secondly, story shows us transformation, the before and the after. So if we are promoting a product or service, what we want to share are stories of people before they use your product or service and after they use your product or service. Transformation. The master at this, Russell Brunson. There's this event called the 10X conference. He delivered this sales pitch for his ClickFunnels. Closed him $3 million worth of sales. It's uploaded on YouTube. You can check it out how he executed his sales pitch. If we were to look at his sales pitch, it is stories after stories after stories. People who successfully use ClickFunnels. People who were struggling entrepreneurs, after they use ClickFunnels, they become so much more successful. Even for already successful entrepreneurs like Tony Robbins, after they use ClickFunnels, it's a game changer for them. So it's just stories and stories and stories and stories and transformation and transformation and transformation. So it established the credibility because people are able to see, wow, after using this product and service, they transform. So stories is also able to bring that transformation, right? Thirdly, one of the most powerful one is emotional engagement, right? Storytelling is able to breathe life into these characters in your story and allow us to emotionally connect with them, even if those characters are fictional. Think about it. Avengers Endgame, one of the top box office movies, right? If we were to look at it, a lot of people got emotional over it. You know, we were devastated when Black Widow sacrificed herself, or we were overjoyed when the heroes returned, or we were so angry with Thanos. Like, all these are fictional characters, you know. In real life, there's no Thor. There's only Thomas, there's no Thor. But why are we so emotionally engaged to all these characters? Because of the stories behind them. It's as if they are real life characters, right? And there's this saying that people will forget what you did, people will forget what you do, but they will not forget how you make them feel. So by sharing this story, even after a while, they forget what you do or they forget about your story, they still have that memorable impression of you based on the emotions you exude through your storytelling format itself. And when it comes to sales, you know, we have two sides of the mind, right? The objective side and the emotional side, the logical side and the emotional side. And emotional is one. Emotional side is the one which makes people buy. After that, then they will try to justify with logic. Oh, actually, it's the right choice lah. But the first set, chain of thought, emotions. Okay. Then another benefit or another reason why storytelling is so powerful is it builds relatability. It develops common point which allow us to put ourselves in the shoes of the character itself. Once again, even if the characters are fictional. For example, Pixel, all their cartoons are fictional, right? Ratatouille, Cars, Finding Nemo, but we are still able to relate with them. It creates that relatability. Why is it so? Ratatouille is a character who wants to fight for his dreams of becoming a chef in that context, regardless of what people say around him. And we all been through that before. We want to fight for our dreams. We have our doubters, right? Finding Nemo is about a very strict parent who eventually built strong relationship with the child. So all of these are relatable contexts which connects with us. And story is able to bring that form of relatability. For someone to like you, they must feel that they are just like you. Creates relatability, creates likability. Yep. And one final one, because there are a lot, but I will just touch on this five. One final one is understandability. It helps people to understand what you want to say better. All right. So this is especially for technical presentation. Right. So we look at Steve Jobs presenting all the different gadgets. Right. It can be a very technical presentation. He shared about the size, he shared about the RAM, he shared about the system. No one will understand. But if you look at Steve Jobs' presentation, it's always weaving with stories so that people can relate to it. Oh, how the phone used to be very thick and very not functional. And after this creation become so functional, so slim, so user-friendly. So even people who are not good with the technical aspect, they are able to relate with it because of the storytelling element. So these are some reasons of why storytelling is a very powerful tool for us to convey across the message we want to. Yep.
Wow. Guys, I mean, I'm just taking down so much notes right now from whatever Thomas is sharing. Because it's so amazing. And yes, by the way, this is on Facebook Live or on YouTube, so you could replay it. But I mean, writing it down and taking notes, I think is one of the best way to learn as well. So I'm actually just actively doing that. But I think whatever that Thomas has just shared with us is really a lot of golden nuggets on how you are actually able to really go inside there and help bring your whole audience into this very incredible journey right? I would say that it's a journey of how you are able to capture them and then ultimately make them someone who relate with you so that they will then buy or do anything that you ask them to do already. So this whole journey is actually just written like right below right now. Right, you first meet them, want to get more, right? Do you want them to like, oh my god, what's next? What's coming? I want to find out more. I need to find out more, right? So if you're able to do that, then you are able to really then move on to the next stage where you transform them, right? You let them know, oh my god, it's because of all these things, like from A to B, right? We transform them. You bring out this incredible journey where you transform their whole perspective, their whole mindset. And then once you're able to do that, that's when you go deep down and you relate to them on the emotional level, you engage them on the emotional level, right? And like what Thomas was talking earlier, I mean, I do a lot of high ticket closing as well on my end. So, I mean, this is an open secret, right? People buy based on emotions, right? It's a lot of times, most times, right? People buy based on emotions, right? And a lot of times that after that, then they have buyer remorse, but because only when they go back and then they start thinking, oh my god, why did I just do that? What happened to me? What did I buy? Right? So always a lot of people do emotional buying. So if you're able to really target people and engage people on a deep emotional level, you're really that's why I said this is a killer skill set, right? Once you're able to master this, you are truly able to get almost anybody to do anything that you want. That is why this is so powerful, right? And then after that, above it all, right, I think Thomas also did mention it's about relatability as well. You want to be able to have stories that people can relate to. If you are just a one-person story, no one can relate to you, then no one is going to be able to connect with you. And that is not something that you want in terms of story building. You want people to come in there, find the connection, and through the relatability, so that they will be able to travel with you on this journey of discovery or transformation of emotional engagement. That is when, bam, you're going to be doing all this wonderful stuff. So I think it's so powerful that that Thomas has been sharing all this with us. So guys, for those of you who are watching now, we have about 15 or 16 of you who are watching this right now. Hey, drop us a like, say hi, right?
Yes, Justin is here.
Oh, Justin is hello. For those of you, type incredible, right? Type incredible in the comment section and let us know. So by the way, Thomas, so we have a first question of the night already. So I want to be able to let this question be out so that you'll be able to address it so that we can add more value to the viewers that are watching this right now. So actually we have this question for Calf. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Cat or Calf? I'm not sure. All right.
Cat.
So I think Cat. So Cat is asking, is there any tips that we can add texture to our story? So I think maybe it's about adding different layers, making stuff more colorful. Is it? I'm not sure. So Kat, if I interpret it wrongly, do explain do add on to the comment section. But I guess it's about how can we make our story more colorful, more engaging. How can we add different layers to it so that we can build the relatability?
Yep. Amazing question. I would say one of the very important element of storytelling is the characters itself. So you want to have that character development, make it so vivid, using vivid vocabularies, describe the character's desire, how they are like, what their passion is, as if that they are a real life person, so that you breathe life into the characters. And when something happened to them, then you have that emotional connection, because it is as if that they are a real life person, which is why we are able to be so emotionally connected with movie characters, because they have done amazing job with regards to breathing life into these characters. So how can we relate it? We use vivid vocabularies, really share about the desire of all these characters, how these characters are like, right? If it's a real person, great, just describe how the person truly is. If it's a fictional person, describe it as if that you're imagining it as a real person itself. So by having that amazing character development, right, people will feel more connected to the characters when you share it out the time. Yeah. So that is one way you can add more texture, add more color and flavor. And it is because it is the impact on these characters that convey across the message at the end when you want to deliver the call to action.
I think this one, maybe I can add on something. I'm not sure if this is correct. So Thomas could really correct me if I'm wrong, but this is something that I learned in school. In fact, last time when we learned how to write compo and thing, and we learned this thing called descriptive writing. Right, we learn this thing called descriptive writing, and if you are reading all the various like novels or books or anything like that, you realize that the authors always spend a lot of time in describing a lot of things. They describe the characters, they describe the weather, they describe the environment, they describe the houses, they describe everything. And the whole idea of this is what? I think is exactly the key point that Thomas was adding earlier. Now, you don't have to be really using fanciful language, just be simpler, just say that, I'm looking at someone, and I met up with Thomas, and Thomas is a young and fine gentleman, with short hair, wearing specs, and he has a face that looks like a Korean idol, and he always dressed immaculately, like something like this. And what this does is that whoever who listened to that or read that earlier, then they will be able to build a certain image or idea in their head and in their mind. And when they are able to do that, right, when something happens to that character or to the environment or to the place, people feel it very, very deeply. Then there is the emotional connection. Oh my God, you mean something happened to the wonderful young man, or what happened to the place? Oh, it struck us in the place. And that is why, in story building, in cinema, that's why the images impact us so much. And when we do stories right now on social media, right, this is one of the things that we learn on social media as well. When you build a story, you put a picture alongside with it that kind of add texture to the story. So this is something that I'm not sure if Kat, if you have answered your question, but I think this is a great question, and Thomas answered it perfectly, right? It really just helps us to be able to bring our storytelling, our story branding ability to the next level. So once again, Kat, thank you for the great question. I really appreciate it. And if you guys have any other more questions, please add in the comment section. And now we have a lot of people commenting in right now. And Joycelyn, Joycelyn is asking something.
I need to emphasize something that Gavin mentioned, which is very, very right. And that is, you can just use simple words. You don't need to use complicated or bombastic words. In fact, you should not. Because when you use all those complicated words just to impress, people is not able to connect. Some people, they don't even know what that word is, right? Use simple word. Our duty is to impact, not impress. You can use the simplest word to convey across the most powerful message. The key is to create relatability. Yep. So amazing point by Kevin.
So this is something that I think Joycelyn was asking as well, because Joycelyn is a fantastic video producer as well, right? And she says that a lot of her coachee asked her about the same thing, right? What if the language is not good? But I think this one I'd like to add on. This is something that I learned during my time in public service, and also when we learn about, if you watch our founding father of Singapore, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, he said this. He once scolded all public servants, right? Because public servants, sometimes those of us who might be educated, we went to uni, and then we want to impress our bosses, right? And then we use fanciful language, right? And during the time when he was doing a lot of public service work, right, he will actually throw all these papers back to the person who wrote them and say, "What is this? I don't understand." But obviously, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, he's very well educated. His command of the language is excellent, right? But the point is, whatever you write, you want it to be simple, straight to the point, so that people can understand it. You want it to be precise, you want it to be concise, and you want it to be clear, so that anyone who is reading it can understand it. And that is your point. That is what Thomas has mentioned. You want to create an impact. And when people can't understand you, you create nothing. You create no impact. You only create confusion. And a confused mind, don't buy. Right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Keep it simple, guys. Keep it simple. So, Joycelyn, I think that kind of like answer your question as well. And we're going to move on to
the... Okay, language is not good. Yeah. In fact, okay, to put it to a bit more extreme context, some people, they are disabled. They can't speak properly. Yet they are able to connect with the audience. Why is it so? Because they are authentic, they are relatable. So you do not need to speak well. You do not need to have amazing prowess of the English language itself. Just be genuine, be authentic, be relatable. Powerful enough.
All right, man. Awesome. Okay, guys, actually, I have a question right now. So, CJ, I'm sorry, I put your question up here already. So, we're going to get to it. I promise you, right? So, CJ, just stick to it to the very end. But anyway, guys, if you all find this amazing so far, can you just type good in the comment section? Let us know that we are doing a good job. Oh, no.
Publicly, I'm going to send you a gift, right? Because we want to value add as many people as we can. Come, share.
Okay, in case for those of you who missed it out earlier, right? Because we had on my screen, I saw a freeze frame of Thomas. So Thomas was saying that if you were to comment and share this video out publicly, right, you're not going to regret it because Thomas is going to look for you and send you a gift. Okay, so share this out. Okay, so guys, before that, I have this question. This is a selfish question, so please give me chance. Give me chance. I'm the host. Let me ask my question. Okay, so Thomas, I want to ask you this thing, right? A lot of people always ask us this, right? They say, right, hey, you know, when you do presentation, when you do this, do that, you must be real, you must be authentic. But actually, what does that mean? What does it mean for us to be real? What does it mean to be authentic? Like,
Okay.
how do we portray that? Yeah.
All right, so I think a lot of people, right, they have this misconception that as a presenter, right, you have to be very formal, you have to be very, very smart, you have to stand very upright, you have to, give that very kind of like rigid hand gesture, which is not true. You just need to be yourself. The best presentation is a conversation. The best presentation is a conversation where you are conversing with the audience instead of you erecting a barrier like you are the main keynote speaker, you need to have this charisma. No, it's a conversation itself. In fact, if you look at some of the amazing speakers, like Jason Capital, I'm not sure if you all have heard of Jason Capital. He wears slippers to a keynote speech. He wears slippers to a keynote speech. He was holding his notes. Yet he's such a powerful speaker because he engaged in a form of conversation with the audience itself. The audience feel comfortable. It removed the barrier between him and the audience. And someone we all know, Melvin So. Right? Yeah, exactly. It's relatable, it's authentic, right? So it may be a risky move, but it is authentic for him and he loves it and it works for him. So yeah. Conversations.
I like to add on to that as well. And then, and guys, this is why my show is called Conversations with Successful Entrepreneurs, because I want it to be real. I want it to be as authentic as possible. So all my shows so far, all the episodes that we have seen are without scripts. Okay, even when the person I invite onto the show asks me for a script, asks me for questions, I tell them that I don't have one. We are just going to have a real conversation. That's it. Right, so this is something that I do as well. So I practice very effectively. But I just like to add on to that part where you mentioned about being yourself, and some people will think that what if I do it that way? I wear a singlet and I drop all the F-bombs or I can't speak well or that kind of thing. And then what if I lose a lot of people? This is something that I'd like to put it out there. I'm not sure if Thomas will agree with me, but this, guys, I want you to understand this. You will not be able to please everybody. Right? There will be certain people who are attracted to your style. There will be certain people who, regardless of what you do, will never ever be attracted to you anyway. So the point is just go out there, be yourself, and serve those who are attracted to you, who believe in you, who wants to be served by you. And then you put in your 101% to serve and do your best for these people. I think that's really that's what I believe in. But I'm not sure if this is something that Thomas will feel strongly for as well.
Yep, I totally agree. I mean, it's a great filter. When you are being yourself, you will attract people and you'll repel people. So, of course, I must always give this disclaimer that being yourself doesn't mean you must be an a-hole. difference. If you realize it's like 90% of the people siam you, then you have to do a bit of reflection. So you have to have that balance also. But naturally, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to branding ourselves, some people we will attract, some people we will repel. It's the process itself. It's totally fine. No worries. Right?
Okay. All right. So
you serve people who are attracted to you. Affinity marketing.
Yeah. In fact, that's a very powerful keyword for those of us who run ads. Right? There's actually, in Facebook, there's this thing called affinity score. But that's another topic for another day. Right? So now I want to come back to a question that is asked by CJ. So in fact, we have so many responses for you guys. You have Kat, Joycelyn, Lena, Dalton, Mary. Lily, all these people, now you guys are commenting. So that's excellent. Keep it coming. Let us know. And I want to get back to the question from CJ because I promised him that we'll come back to it. So CJ's question is, which must a storytelling presentation include? Well, that's a bit... Okay, I think what he meant was that what must be included within a storytelling presentation? How can we structure a storytelling presentation in your format? So maybe I should ask you this. When you prepare for a presentation, Thomas, how do you prepare for it and how do you incorporate storytelling?
Okay, so to add on to what CJ mentioned, so CJ, if you are mentioning to the structure itself, right, it's the 5C structure that I've shared earlier. But when it comes to preparing for a presentation, like what I mentioned, the first thing is to begin with the end in mind. What's the end result you want to achieve? Is it to convey a message? Is it to build a brand? Is it to close a sales? Have the end in mind, then you can create your story and your presentation itself. All right. The second thing is that your content must be clear and concise. It's not some grandmother story. You want to be as clear and as concise. And for those who are amazing, even more amazing storyteller, they practice this thing called economy of words, which means every single word that they put in the presentation or the story matters. It is as if when they remove it, right, the thing will change. Economy of words, because every single word has a potential to deliver a punch itself. All right. The third thing is you want to check if your content is relatable to the audience. So you need to do some audience research first. Who are you speaking to? Their demographics, their age, their status. All right. So let's say if your audience is mostly high net worth, then if you are sharing something which can bring people out of poverty, they may not be able to relate it immediately unless they have experienced poverty before. So you need to do your audience research well to create that content. All right. You need your content to be emotionally evoking. It cannot just be a flat line, because like what I mentioned, emotions is the thing which curate that selling ability, because people buy based on emotions and after that they justify based on logic. So is it emotionally evoking? And how you evoke emotions, the characters must be real, it must be authentic, it must be well described and vivid, so that it's as if it's a real character itself, regardless of whether it's a fictional or a non-fictional character, right? And find something which suits your delivery style. Yeah, I need to emphasize on this. So when we talk about stories, right, a lot of people think need to go like share or sob stories. Not necessary, because if it is not your style, when you share it in that way, it will not seem authentic. So recently we have seen that incident in a specific political climate where there's this group of politicians sharing sob story, but it does not relate to them. And after that, there's also a lot of aftermath, because it is not their style, right? So you want a style which is suitable for your delivery as well. So these are some of the areas we have to look at when it comes to creating a story for your presentation.
Very good. So CJ, I hope that kind of like answer your question. So if it already answered your question, just say, just comment, say yes, so that we know that we did added value to you and we really answered your question, because that's the whole objective of tonight's show, is to be able to help you guys and answer any queries that you all have. But having said that, right, now I have another personal question that I want to ask, right? So
Yes.
in case for those of you who have more questions, this is the time for you to type in the comment box so that we all can get more out of Thomas. So I'm going to squeeze a bit more out of him first, right? Okay, so Thomas, my question is this, because you mentioned that is something that affects me so much. Okay, to be honest, I admit it, right? I kid you, right? I kid you. I raise my hand and first one to admit it. I very naggy one. I very lost one. I like ama like that one. When I talk, when I start sharing, when I do my presentation, I tend to go on and on and on and on. And sometimes I tend to beat around the bush a little bit as well. As some of you might have realized, right? You know, when I try to sum up the things, I tend to beat around the bush a little bit. It's just my style. But I acknowledge the fact that the economy of words is very important. I need to be able to really finesse it. So is there any tips on how a presenter should finesse his script or his presentation?
Well, okay, so to start off, right, a great story is not written, it is rewritten. So we will have a lot of draft which we want to come up with before we can get that sweet touch itself. So you do not need to be worried that, oh, wow, my first draft, it has to be such an amazing story already. You can do presentations and presentation. Even right now, right, like for keynote speakers, right, a lot of our presentations are similar one. But each time we present, right, there will be changes and tweaks to it, because we just want to get better and better and better. And just start from somewhere, then have that self-awareness of where you have to work on and where you have to improve on. If you feel you have to cut down on certain things, you have to cut down on certain things. If you feel that you have to emphasize on certain things, I mean, reiteration, like the AMA style, can be effective in certain areas, because you want to constantly reiterate one point, one specific point. Maybe the message you want to bring across is, positive thinking. So you reinforce positive thinking, positive thinking, positive thinking, positive thinking, positive thinking. But you can do it in a way that have a variety in it, so people won't get bored. You will not be too consistent. But the main message you want to emphasize is positive thinking. Yeah. So these are different areas which you have to look at. And always when we do keynote presentation, right, many people will just film themselves presenting. Another, how to bring it a notch up, right, is to film the audience as well. Look at their expression, look at their emotions they exude. Does the word you use trigger anything in them or not? Right? Because at the end of the day, we are speaking for the audience, not for ourselves. We are not seeing that whether we look good or not, we look shy or not, look like K-pop star or not. No, we want to see the audience reaction, then the interaction with them. Of course, yes, you can have a site which look at yourself to see whether you are presentable, but the audience one is actually more important. Are they able to capture your punchline? Are they able to capture the strong point itself? You can see on their face one. So yeah, practice.
I just want to say that Thomas has now just shared something that is golden, and that is something that not even a lot of presentation coaches or trainer will actually tell you to do that. A lot of time when you go for any speaking training or classes, right, what they do is that they always tell you, oh, when you do presentation, you go on stage, we'll film you, right? We'll let you look at how you were presenting, what's your hand action, what's your what words are you using? Are you nervous? How do you look like? That kind of stuff. But actually, what Thomas said earlier was really key, right? It's not just about you, it's about your audience. Ultimately, who are you delivering your message to? It is to the audience, it's not to yourself. We don't want to 自己讲自己爽. There's nothing for us to be so shocked about anymore. It's about what we make our audience feel, right? And you know, last time when we were doing live presentation, nowadays when we do Zoom or things like this, a bit more difficult because a lot of time people don't on their camera. But last time when we do live presentation, it's quite short one. When you are on stage, when you are talking, and then when you move on at a certain point, and when you are able to bring the story so good, right? Every single thing you say, right, you see the audiences below, they will do this. Literally doing this the whole presentation, and you know you got it, right? You got them so engaged that they are just so into the flow. They are just agreeing with everything you say, and you're doing presentation, right? Oh my god, I'm telling you. If they are doing this the whole 15 minutes or 20 minutes, when you ask them to buy something, what they will do? They will just do this also. They will just they will buy it also, right? So I think it's really important. This is really a key lesson for everyone who is watching this right now. If you are ever doing a presentation, it's not just about you, it's about your audience. Film your audience, have a feel of what they are. So because when you're doing something wrong, they will go like, you can see, and then you know, maybe the next time when I do this speech, this part doesn't resonate with people, I need to change. Yeah, right? Like they were like their brow will come together, and this is a visual cue to you. Right? Unless that is your intended effect, right? So that's another story, right? But I think that is a key lesson. That's a great lesson. So, guys, if you all agree with that, you all feel that is an amazing golden nugget. What I want you all to do right now is this. I want you all to share this video out, right? Share this video out publicly because Thomas has agreed to do this, which I didn't even know beforehand, that he will actually send you guys a gift if you share this video out publicly. He will go and check it. I'm not sure how. I mean, he will just go and see who shared, and then he will probably send you a gift, right? So do that. You will never regret it. You know, Thomas has high quality stuff that he can share with you guys, and yeah. I mean, wow, man, that blew my mind, guys. If you have any other question, just comment down in the comment section or this side. Comment down in the comment section, and let us know.
Joycelyn, hey Thomas, I think your vocal energy good. Consider doing a podcast, but good enough to sing or not? No, I cannot sing. I sing already, no one will watch Gavin's show already.
You never know. Thomas, later we can put that to the test. After we officially end the show, we can have an Okay, so guys, so we have been talking for the last 1 hour and 10 minutes already. It has been an amazing session where we've talked so much and we have learned so much from Thomas himself. And I just like to put it out there again. If you have any questions, right, I'd like to spend the next maybe 10 to 15 minutes to wrap this up. So if you have any final question, please type in the comment section now. Let us know, let Thomas know so that he can address those personally, right? If not, Thomas, I'm just gonna come and ask you another question right now, right? So because you know my show is mainly geared towards entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, right? And you're someone who has been there, done that. And by the way, Joycelyn was asking, how do you become an entrepreneur? What's your story like? So yes, Joycelyn, you missed it, so you got to watch the replay earlier where Thomas shared a little bit more. But for many people who are just
right, yes,
it's not like it's just that you became you almost made me think that you're gonna be a Pokemon, but that's another thing, right? So Joycelyn has to find out what we meant by that. But the thing is this, right? So many of them are aspiring entrepreneurs, right? So if you were to just have the ability to only share one singular advice to them, right? As an aspiring entrepreneur, for them to go onto this journey, right? What would you say to them? Nothing more, just one piece of advice.
Have a lean business model. Have a lean business model. I always emphasize on this. People may disagree with me, but this is personally what I practice, and I always encourage my coaches to practice. Start with business that have low cost, high profit margin. Low cost, high profit margin. Some people, they start the business, their cost is already super high already. You want to earn back that sum of money takes a while. When your financial obligation kicks in, it will be a struggle. Find ways to use your passion and build a business with a lean business model. So that's the advice I will always give to aspiring entrepreneurs. When you build up the capital, then yes, you can go in something which have higher startup costs. But always start out. There are always ways to do it. One, for example, catering business, right? A lot of people think that catering business a lot of high startup costs. But how can you do it in a way that has a low startup cost, right? You partner with existing catering partners. You just need to build a brand. You get the resources from them as a middleman, and then you provide it to your clients. That will reduce your cost significantly. So find ways to make your business model lean. Or you just ask me for one, but I elaborate more. So I hope people can understand better by elaborating it. Yeah.
No, but is that one piece of advice, but you elaborated, because I will ask you the same thing as well, because that is something that is quite different and apart from storytelling. So I'm actually quite surprised that you chose to give that piece of advice, right? So Thomas' advice is to be able to keep your business lean, especially when you're starting out. And obviously I shared the reasons why. And you know what? I totally agree with it. Even right now, my business is still so lean. I'm sure Thomas' business is lean. And Joycelyn just said the business is lean, but not herself. I think for us also, we are getting louder.
We can relate with that.
So definitely we can relate with Joycelyn as well. See, even in a sentence, there's a story, guys. This is how powerful, right? Wow, Joycelyn very good. 现学现卖, right? Learn already, immediately use. Okay, so that would be the advice for any of us who is starting out and doing this. Okay, so I just want to maybe let people have the opportunity to know you a little bit better, Thomas, because I mean, apart from storytelling, you said you help people to accumulate wealth and do portfolio management and things like this, right? So if there's anyone who would love to connect with you, to be able to learn more from you in terms of business, in terms of wealth management and things like that, what is the best way for them to actually reach out to you?
So essentially what I mentioned earlier, I have two sides. One is the wealth management portfolio. One is coaching and training on wealth building skills, which comes in 3 pillars: financial management, business growth, and life mastery. So if any of you have any questions, just feel free to ask, right? Won't promote any service or anything. I will just be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So I always love to give value. So if you want to reach out to me, you guys connect with me on Facebook. Yeah, Facebook is one of my most active platforms. So yeah, connect with me through there. If any of you have any questions, feel free, ask me anytime. I'm always open 24/7. I'll first need to wait for me to wake up to read the message. Yeah, we really love to value add all of you.
Actually, Joycelyn have a
offer his Yeah, so it's part of my business growth coaching. So I use storytelling to help people grow their business and build their brand. Yeah.
So what does that mean? It means that if someone would like to learn storytelling so do you craft story for people, or they have to learn this as part of the skill set from your coaching? Is that how it works?
I empower them to craft it. Yeah, so what I do is, of course, I'm there to guide and give advice also. So what I do is I will zoom into their business, identify their inner purpose, and create a story to reinforce their brand itself. Because a lot of time, right, people, they just start business but without thinking about the branding part of this. They are interested in the craft of the business, but not running the business. There's a difference right there. Craft of the business, but not running of the business. So essentially, this is part of the running of the business under the marketing and branding itself. It's one of the components. So what I do is I help them to identify, because with their stories, right, they are able to differentiate themselves. Products can differentiate, but it's hard. Service can differentiate also, but you need to take a while to find. But only one person have that story. Only one person have the Gavin story, right? Only one person have the Thomas story. Only one person have the Jocelyn story. So storytelling itself is a great differentiator.
Okay. Amazing, guys. If not, I think we are almost coming to the end of this particular episode already. I believe, I agree that many of us have gotten a ton of value, right? A ton of value from this particular sharing. So, if you all agree with me, you all have gotten a lot of value from this sharing. Can you guys just type value in the comment section? Just type value in the comment section and let us know that you have gotten a lot out of this. And again, for those of you who are just tuning in or who may be watching this later, do share this video out, right? Do share this video out and let Thomas know, because Thomas actually has a gift for people who actually shares out this particular video. Okay. In fact, right now, you see, by doing this, we might have a business collaboration here, right? Joycelyn has just mentioned that, be able to combine story plus video. And I agree, that is going to be a very, very powerful combination. So definitely, I mean, guys, the two of you should link up and hopefully don't just talk and sing, but talk a little bit of business as well.
What will happen from there? It will become we work.
If there's beer, come in as well, brother. Okay, so guys, just another 1 to 2 more minutes. Any more questions? Just a final part.
Shoot. Just ask only.
Okay.
The night is still young, man.
So you're not in a hurry. You're still able to go on and on.
Oh, but no singing, please.
Okay, so Thomas, maybe can you share? Maybe since we are waiting, I think I just extend this a little bit longer, just to let the people take in a little bit more. Could you share with us, like, perhaps what's you are now an entrepreneur for a long time. You said that you started there when you were young, and even from your uni days, you've been doing this, right? So what's your biggest win and what's your biggest loss? What's your biggest mistake? Could you share that with people who are watching this?
Wow, biggest mistake.
So two parts of it, the biggest mistake and the biggest win.
In terms of business, is it?
Yeah, in terms of business, yeah.
Okay, so there's this thing about specialization and generalization, right? So there's this direction of specialists and generalists. So the common consensus is that specialists will create a more premium brand, a more premium positioning, a more premium client base, right? But what I have, because of that, right, for a period of time, I got the fear of branching out because I was afraid that it would dilute my brand. But what I realized, right, by being a specialist, right, you do not need to narrow down. You can be a specialist of a broad category also. For example, Amazon started out as a specialist of e-commerce for books. Right now, it is still a specialist, but specialist of e-commerce. It have widened out. Google back then, a specialist of a search engine. Right now, with all the different branches, a specialist of a IoT itself. So a lot of people, they have this mindset that as a specialist, right, you need to be narrow, but you can be a specialist in a broad sense. You just need to have that anchor theme. So for example, for me, it's wealth building skills itself. And a lot of trainers and coaches, right, because they always try to find niche, right, it become a double-edged sword. So for example, some people, right, brand themselves as Facebook marketer. What if one day Facebook got a regulation such that the marketing is not so effective and strong? Then their branding will be totally gone because they put themselves so narrow, Facebook marketer. But if they widen it to a digital marketer instead, perhaps it's safer for them. They have more space to navigate around, right? So this, and in fact, like people like Tony Robbins, he talk about finance, he talk about business, he talk about life. So in the sense that if they are talking about generalists, he's very general, but I still consider him as a specialist of breakthrough itself. Yeah, so I took quite a while before I find this, make a lot of mistakes, but this was one of the turning point that I finally get to identify that actually you can be a specialist in a broad sense. You just need to have that anchor theme itself.
Wow. Hey, you know what? I'm so glad I asked that question. I really am, because I think I've been through that route as well, and this is something that I share in my premium coaching classes as well as my group as well. We talk about, and I specifically tell my coaches, if you want, a lot of people say go and be an expert. I say don't be an expert, go and be a specialist, right? But after you become a specialist, right, I think the common pitfall is exactly like what you mentioned. People then become afraid to branch out. They become so stuck in one singular area, which is nothing wrong, by the way, if you are doing good and you are getting what you have achieved your objective. Nothing wrong with that, right? By the way. But it's just that you should not be afraid that once you're able to achieve a certain level of success already, then it should not stop you from having that courage to branch out to become a specialist in a broader field. Right?
You can value you can value stack to add even more value to your existing clients.
Correct. Because people know me as at first people started knowing me as email marketing, affiliate marketing, and then after that we branch out to do Facebook and funnels, and then now I think I would say I'm a specialist in digital marketing. People also know me for doing simple videos, right? A lot of this, so I do a lot of these different things, but now I'm just a specialist in digital marketing, so I have skill set in all these sub niches within digital marketing. So that is definitely something, and I think the key lesson is really, guys, don't be afraid to branch out once you have mastered a certain aspect of it. Give it a go. You never know what the future might be. I think this is what an entrepreneur is anyway. It's about taking risks and being able to know when is the time to expand and diversify your business, right? Every single business in this world, they are specialists. At first, you realize that they are specialists in something very niche, and then they broaden and broaden and broaden and broaden, right? Even like people like Elon Musk, right? We always say that he's a generalist, right? He's a specialist generalist, right? That's actually, that term is like, I don't know, is it created for him? But then he is known as a generalist, but now he's a specialist in so many different areas. So that is your biggest lesson and potentially your biggest mistake earlier. So what's your biggest win, Thomas? Will you share with us? What's your biggest win?
Oh, actually, it's connected to that, law. So my hero's journey, my story itself is finally, I realized that that's the direction forward, and I created it, and I managed to create mobility in my business, lah. It's just like back to John Lee's example. He started out as a property investor, but he's still able to have this mobility because he has the overarching brand of wealth. So he can just jump into social media marketing, which can help him to build wealth. In the future, he can jump to other areas if he wants to, which can help with the theme of wealth also. So that has also been my biggest win. So I convert my biggest loss to my biggest win.
That's amazing, guys. Converting your biggest loss to your biggest win. How many of us can actually say that we have done that or could do that, right? And there you have it, man. It's Thomas. He has done that. He's our master storyteller that has joined us for tonight, and he has done all this amazing achievement despite his young age. And like what Joyce has mentioned here, Thomas is all right. So for everyone that is watching this right now, please really, go out there and connect with Thomas. I think Thomas is someone that definitely you should get in touch with, and you are ever feeling the need to seek some form of advice on financial management, on business, on life coaching. I think Thomas will definitely be one of the right person, one of the best person to reach out to. So do connect with him as well. I mean, his Facebook link is just down in the chat for those of you who are watching this. Okay. And Joycelyn just mentioned something. Joycelyn said this. I'm going to put this up. It's a bit long, but it's going to cover a little bit of us.
I say that from Joycelyn Jie, wise words.
Yeah. So it's about opportunity as well. Yeah, I think what she's saying is about, sometimes an opportunity comes to you, right? And this is something that we learned from Sir Richard Branson, right? He said this, right? When an opportunity comes towards you, say yes first, and then figure out how to do it later, right? So sometimes when you are ready, this opportunity will present itself to you. Don't be afraid to take that step out sometimes to say yes, right? Having said that, I think it's important when you need to know when to say no also, just to be very, very clear. But I think sometimes when you are ready, you feel that there's an opportunity there. Why not, right? Why not? Okay, so guys, that's it for the night. I think we have an amazing session with Thomas. Unless you guys suddenly pop another question and then we have to ask Thomas again. But if not, I'd like to thank Thomas for coming onto the show. And next week we're gonna have another amazing guest on the show. Next week we are actually gonna have this gentleman. His name is Gerald So. Okay, his name is Gerald So. He's an e-com millionaire based in Malaysia, right? So he does a lot of stores, he does a lot of coaching as well, and this guy is absolutely bonkers. Okay, so you all have to tune in next week as well. And next week timing is going to be a little bit different. It's actually going to be on a Friday from 8 to 10. So next Friday, 8 to 10, are going to be interviewing the e-com millionaire, right? Jared So on the 4th of September. So if you guys are free, please also join us for the show. Next week is super amazing. And also, I just want to sell a little bit of my Koyot, saying it's my own show, right?
Very cool event coming up, right? I think tomorrow got a very cool event coming up.
Also. So guys, if you are interested in finding more on how to do digital marketing and business coaching, right? In fact, tomorrow I'm partnering with another amazing lady. So she's been on my show earlier. Her name is Felicia, right? She's an amazing business coach. And, you know, we've seen so many business suffer during this whole COVID situation, right? During this period, which is why I actually partner with her, and we're actually running a free webinar tomorrow. Where we are going to be sharing a lot of golden nuggets of how you can pivot your businesses, how can you turn your business online so that you can then get out of this rut and then you can actually thrive during the crisis. So if you're interested in the webinar, I'm also going to be dropping the link down in the comment section, all right, so that you all can join my webinar for tomorrow as well. Okay, so that is all I want to do. My Koyot self-image already. So I'm going to hand it over back to Thomas, okay, because this is something that I do on my show all the time. So Thomas, I would like you to end off the show, which means I would like you to actually come up with the last word for the show, right? Before we say that kind of thing.
I thought it's like, this is 1 hour and we do this. Okay, so the last word I have for all of you is that in every difficulty, there will be opportunity. I know many of you right now, you are going through a difficult period of time. Don't give up, widen your perspective, look for the opportunity. There will always be opportunities out there, right? All the best. Go for it, everyone.
All right, there you have it. From Thomas Chen, the master storyteller, another episode of Conversation with Successful Entrepreneur. We will see you next Friday at 8 p.m. Have a good night. Stay safe. Stay healthy, everyone. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.